call the Capital Outlay Committee meeting of a whole. Miss Amanda, if you can call roll.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Anthony?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Here.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Piazza?
Here.
Ms. Richards?
Present.
Mr.
Here.
Toller? Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Gonna say a pledge of allegiance again, guys?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I'm going to have to depend on you, Miss Amanda, because I don't have my computer, but I'm looking at it on my phone. It's kind of small. All right, Mr. McNeely, projects.
All right, first, item A is, if you remember, you changed the policy last year as far as approvals, and everything over $10,000 needed to be reported to the capital outlay. So what you have in front of you is a list of all expenditures in maintenance and all expenditures in capital outlay from July 1st through September 30th. The detail that we were able to get from the system is that if you want more detail on a particular project or expenditure, if you would send that to me, I can get you some more specifics on it. But this was a report that Jay was able to run without spending 2 days trying to get all the information.
This is very helpful.
On each
Question.
one.
Yeah.
Sir.
Can I ask, Rob?
Yes, go ahead.
There's not on here where we get to tell which fund these came out of, right? I'm not missing.
So at the top of the page of the first one, it says maintenance expenditures, and then the second page is capital outlay expenditures.
I see. So, okay, so these, the first page, I see what you're saying, is maintenance, that came out of the maintenance fund.
Correct.
Which the maintenance fund comes out of half of the second sales tax pillar.
Yes.
Penny. And then the capital expenditures. But now, did any of these, where it says capital expenditures, were some of these out of the small capital outlay account, or was this all out of our regular capital outlay account?
It's a mix. If you look like the fifth one down, it says SCO, ILA, Marcus Brown, Raymond's Dover. So SCO means that was small capital outlay.
Okay, so that's.
But you can't rely on that because when these descriptions were put in, when they did the POs, there wasn't a uniform system yet, but we're going to get to where the information is better going forward since this is the way we have to pull it. Okay. So there's a mix here. You also see that the gym HVACs checks being paid for those are mixed in here. So what I want to do, if I can get it updated, we just did this yesterday. I want to try to get you a breakdown that at least tells you which school each one of these expenditures are as well. And I think we can do that pretty easily.
Okay. So, but in the future, the code I'm looking for is that SCO, small capital.
I mean, small
outlay.
capital outlay. Right.
Okay.
Jeff, so you're going to add another column to this report?
A column or
That
two.
tells us which school?
I will. Yeah. So we'll get which school, if it's a school, added to it.
Okay.
And then we'll
that's
try to
also-
distinguish.
You're also going to identify whether it's small capital outlay or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll try to get that.
Is that Mr. Joe? That's all.
Is that on this one? Yes?
All right, so the next few projects that we have, it's going to be B through S. These are all the projects that Ms. Stilley had sent to us that are going to be for Phase 3. So we're going to take these individually. We'll vote on each one of them, B through S, individually. So I'm going to call each one, and Ms. Amanda, we're going to do a vote on each one of them.
Hang on, Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like the motion to refer for further discussion and additional information to our upcoming strategic and facilities planning retreat, items B, E, F, J, K, L, M, N, and O, all of the Phase 3 projects to our retreat. For further discussion,
Repeat them there, Joey.
items B, E, F, J, K, L, M, N, and O. All of the projects that are on the agenda for tonight for Phase 3 would like to move that to our Strategic and Facilities Planning Board Retreat, which will be held before the end of the year, for further discussion and additional information on all projects.
You have a second?
Second.
Call for a vote, Ms. Amanda.
Well, can we discuss?
Sure.
It's not a motion to table, it's a motion to refer, so it is a debatable
Yeah,
motion.
I mean, look, I'm all for going down this line. It won't take us very long to go through them. I understand you're trying to compile them all together, but some of these projects were originally in Phase 2, prior to even some of you guys being on this board. They were pulled off because of lack of funding or the can was kicked down the road. And I understand the concern with all of these being piled at one time and hit us this week at one time. But there's some in here like the Independence, the Sumner, the cafeteria or the gym at Sumner Middle School. Some of those things, I'm not saying all those are going to pass, but I think it's due diligence to give us the opportunity. I'm asking the board members, give us the opportunities. Let's talk about each one of these short, quick, and vote on each one individually. And if the majority of these go to that retreat, so be it. If all of them go to the retreat, so be it. But I don't think we should just pile it all in one box, personally.
So my concern with that is that if we're going to, because my understanding, and I'll ask you some questions in a minute, I guess, Mr. McNeil, what we're talking about doing is taking the next step to hire architects, not necessarily approving the projects.
Right.
But that's still, for each one of these, taking that next step is moving towards a major expenditure, because once we hire them, we're paying them their percentage fee based on what it comes back, right? I mean,
So a vote yes tonight instructs us to begin the process of procuring architects. For the projects that we think are going to be over $2 million, your policy requires us to do RFQs to get responses from architects. So the next step on those projects, we would come back to you project by project for you to either go with the administration's recommendation or for you to make a substitute motion to hire a particular architect for each project. So this doesn't
hire the architects, but it
Does not.
starts the process of hiring the architects.
Correct.
Which we then would have to make the decision to hire the architects, which that probably won't come back to us until February.
Right.
Okay? But when we hire those architects, that's a major expenditure. For the $4 million gym that we're talking about doing, that's about a $250,000 expenditure once we hire them, right?
It may be closer to 400,000. I think it's 8 to 10%. But it's at each step. So if we go through programming and you say, you know what, this isn't feasible, we're not on the hook for that
But
whole
at
amount.
programming, you're paying at least half of the architect's fee, right? I mean,
I'm not sure.
so it's still a major
5. I got a 5 in the back. 5%.
5%.
5%.
5% of the total project.
No, 5% of the architect fee.
Okay.
So is it 5% of the architect fee or 5% of the project? 5% of the project?
No.
I mean, the architect fee, okay, got you.
For us to get an opinion of cost, and I know we've got architects in the audience, for us to get an opinion of cost to know whether we can fund it or move forward, at what level of planning is it required from the architect? Programming, systematic, I mean, what?
Why don't you come up here, so. You're going to be a content expert for us on all architects, if that's all right.
Well, I guess the question is, Pierre, once we make this determination, what's it take for the architect to give us an opinion of cost? At what level of the planning? Are we talking about 30%, 40%?
We can do an opinion of cost at programming.
Which is 5% of the total architect fee. Okay.
About 8% of the total project. Isn't that about right? 8 to
Well,
10%?
you run it through the fee curve, but yeah, it averages around 8%.
And-
That's not a set.
So that would be 5% for this project, for the gym, it would be 5% of $320,000.
Okay, to get that estimated cost. Okay, and what y'all are asking for tonight is only to start the process of selecting the architects that will then, their next step, once they are selected, would be first to give us that programming and estimated cost. Okay, so that makes me feel a lot better, because that's a much smaller number than what I thought we were talking about spending tonight, because I was doing rough math thinking that we were about to spend about $1.5 million hiring architects on all of these projects. But at what point then in that process, because all of these were put on a list earlier this week and told us, hey, we want to start the conversation with these projects. At what point do we as a board get to have a conversation about what we would like any of these buildings to look like, or what do we want included? I saw on here, for example, we have the gym at Independence and a classroom addition at Independence. Well, at what point do we get to say, well, maybe it would make more sense to do one building that includes both gym and classroom rather than two separate buildings? When do we get to have that conversation?
I think now, while we're discussing it, and before we hire an architect, because you may want to combine that project together.
But we got 1 hour to talk about all of these
and then,
projects.
Right. And not just that, Mr. President.
Okay.
And I'll let Ms. Stilley speak to why you have the list of classrooms additions, how they came up.
Okay, let me just say this. The whole purpose of this is just to get the ball rolling. We still will be able to come back and make our decision after we get an architect hired, how we want this to be done. So in the meantime, we can have our board retreat, and we can decide before we move forward with the architect, this is how we want things done.
Well, so then, can I ask?
Sure, go ahead.
I got one too.
Hold on, so when we send out the RFQs, because this is all, look, and to the credit of the administration, when we did phase 1 and phase 2, those RFQs went out, and a lot of these estimated costs went out before we had the first public meeting on any of it. So I'm glad we're having public meetings, I guess, but when you send the RFQ out, if we authorize that, do you send the RFQ out per school, or do you send the RFQ out per project? So for example, with Independence, are you going to send, if we authorize this tonight, the way it's on the agenda, are you going to do an RFQ for the classroom edition and a separate RFQ for the gym?
I would think you combine those two together, even if it's going to be two separate buildings, because you don't want to have two different contractors and two different architects working on the same school.
So you do it per campus, which is how we did the phase 2 project.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it's not specific on this, though.
Yeah.
It's separated on here.
And I'm going to tell you my fundamental argument here as well is we as a board didn't get any information of how any of these items got placed into phase 3. In prior years, when phase 2 and phase 1, the board had a discussion on what was the immediate needs of the parish, parish-wide. We got an email with a list of things that said, here, this is phase 3, we're going to be voting on it tomorrow night. Where's the strategic planning behind it? Where's the data that backs up of why this wing is needed at this school? Where is this board has not been presented any of that, but we're coming to now ask for architects to design something that we as a board may not agree in a few months that is, after we look at data, is appropriate for that particular school. And I'll give one in my district. You got a wing at Perrin, that's a 60-year-old building that's going to be 6 years older by the time we even get this thing through. Where's our strategic plan of saying, well, what is our long-term goal of that school? It's a 60-year-old building that's dilapidated. We just had to spend an act of Congress to get a roof on it. Where is that planning in that process? That's my ultimate argument tonight, is why I'd like to see it go to a retreat where we can be presented that data, get all of that information, so we as a board can make that educated decision to say, yes, this school needs that because that fits our strategic planning, that's in our actual strategic plan for safety and population growth. Where's that data? Because I haven't seen it, and we got an hour to look through it for each individual location. And I know you said in phase 2, some of this was in there prior to me being on the board. That's even more reason for me to look at it, because I have no idea as a new board member what was approved or not approved, or what data was presented that wasn't presented. that's even more reason for us to talk about it and see that data.
I'm just a little
Mr.
confused in terms of the parliamentary procedure here. Where are we at in terms of the amendment? Do we need to withdraw the
There's a-
amendment so we
there's a
can
motion.
continue?
The
discussion?
motion's there, it's second, we're in the debating stage. We haven't.
But it's to refer all of them, not
Not one
that's the current
individual,
motion.
all of them.
I'm asking if we're discussing item B, or are we discussing the amendment?
No, the amendment.
Okay, thank you.
We're discussing whether we want to refer all of them to the,
Or just go down the list one by one.
Right. And so to answer your question, Mr. Piazza, where these classroom additions came from was strictly from a list of portables that we're currently paying leases on buildings that are worn out, that the way the leases are written, we have to put new roofs on buildings that aren't ours. We have to repair buildings that aren't ours. And this really came up from the discussion that we had about Hammond East Side Upper, trying to find additional classroom space. And it's cheaper to build a building than it is to enter into to get portables. So in the process of that, Ms. Stilley asked us to identify, and so I got Charlie to identify where are we renting buildings currently for classrooms. Got with academics, are these buildings needed and used? And if they are, then let's replace them with permanent classrooms, or at least look into the feasibility of that versus continuing paying portables. That's the source of the classroom additions.
And Mr. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Robin, can I, Tom, because so if we were to, like, go with what you were suggesting, where we go through individually and vote on these, like, rather than pausing all of them to have a more full discussion, what would be the individual justification for moving one forward versus all of them? I mean, like, why would I move any of these forward
Well,
and
because,
not the other ones?
because some of these we have talked about in the past.
Well, not any of the ones that are on that list, other than the Sumner one, which was originally.
I've been on this board for 8 years, and I've been talking about a gym for Independence High School.
Right, but today is the first time we've got an estimate that it's going to cost us $4 million.
Right.
So I would.
And guess what? That Perrin School's been there for 60 years, so has Independence High School gym.
Yeah.
We have a junior high and a high school playing in that gym that the principal, who is here, and he can say this, that we have to work around for PE classes. He does 45 minutes of PE in the gym, 45 minutes of PE in the classroom, because he can't fit all of his classes in one day, hours in the day, to get all of those kids in PE. It's been discussed for 8 years that we were going to give Independence High School a gym.
But Robin, we have also been discussing, since we entered the final agreement with the DSEG court, that we were going to move forward with getting rid of portable buildings, which is the other $24 million part of this project. So again, to my point, again, if the consensus of the board is, nope, we're just going to move forward with any one of these projects, then we just need to move forward with all of them. There's no justification in my mind to say, well, we're going to move forward with this one, but not these other ones. Because we've been talking about getting rid of portable buildings for 15 years.
We have, and with us being able to do a gym at Sumner or a gym at Independence, classrooms can be put in those areas as well. Why can't we put 4 classrooms in the new gym?
Right. My question was only is it more prudent to have a fuller, more strategic conversation before we move forward on these projects? Or is it just, nope, we're just going to go forward with voting on something that we just found out we were voting on earlier this week?
Yep.
It's not.
Okay, well, let's, Ms. Rose, go ahead.
Well, I get Sumner was in the whole, as we say, Sumner's been having a cafetorium, whatever they call it, all these years.
Cafegimatorium.
Whatever it is. But there's a lot of schools just like that. And I'm not sure exactly how his schedule would work, but I do know that there is a gym at the elementary, if that could be a feasible option, that they could alternate, the junior high basketball.
That is not a basketball court, Ms. Rose.
But it would be a practice area, because you look at Champ Cooper, there are 11, 12, 1,300 kids there now. They have one gym that's been there since my mother was at Champ Cooper. And there are 1,300 kids for all.
So the reasoning behind all of this is y'all believe because Independence High School has 400 kids in it, they don't deserve to have a gym.
That has nothing to do with it. My point is, there's been a lot of people asking about gyms or auditoriums. Some people don't even have
We
auditoriums.
don't either.
But that's-
We don't have an auditorium. We don't even
But-
have a place for them to meet as a collective group.
But as our goal is to get classrooms, to me, that's our ultimate goal first, not necessarily a gym. But if we're going to add a gym, which is, like you said, they need it, a lot of people need it, I think the discussion needs to be, let's just don't say we're going to add a gym and then we're going to add classrooms. We need to talk about it, not just get a piece of paper that says we want to do this. We need to discuss it and see what's the most urgent, necessary needs.
Yes, Dr. Sanders,
You know-
we have some people that want to speak.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, there's a lot of people that are asking us for things that need it bad. I just feel like we need to have a discussion about it before we like just say, okay, yeah, we're going to do
But
this.
the whole thing is, he's not saying that we have to build this gym. We're just going out for...
Their diagram is to do a gym, the motion, the paperwork here is to do a gym, do a classroom. We would like to discuss it and have it
Well,
a
the
more
motion is to
formulated
consider
plan.
design.
You have to
But
consider.
still, you're
design.
spending taxpayers' money on a design that
To
we as a
consider-
board don't even know if we're gonna do. That's my ultimate thing here.
Can I say this?
Yes.
Look, I appreciate all the input and I appreciate, but we're debating a motion to combine
Yes.
this together.
Yes.
We're getting into the weeds on
Yes.
each individual one, which is why I said, why don't we just quickly go down this list and everybody vote yay or nay and move the heck on? Because right now, we're just stuck in the weeds on a motion to
motion's there.
put all this together.
Why don't you call for a vote on the motion?
Okay, let's go, well, before we get to you, Dr. Sanders, we're going to call for a vote on this. Independence High. No, this is on Joey's motion that we combine, which ones were they, Joey?
All Phase 3 projects, B, E, F, J, K, L, M, N, and O.
I think we all agree, we need more discussion and we need a
Thank you.
roundtable, we need a retreat type atmosphere.
Thank you. That's,
Anyway, I'll shut up.
Say it again. Ms. Rose?
Ms. Abrams?
No.
Mr. Anthony?
No.
Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Mr. Piazza?
yes.
Ms. Richards?
No.
Mr. Toller?
No.
Mr. Westmoreland?
No.
Motion fails.
All right, so now, we're going to move down and consider each one individually. And as we call them out, Dr. Sanders, would you like to speak on, since the first one is Independence High School, would you like to speak on that?
Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So as we go through these, I did update the 5-year capital outlay. You should have a copy in front of you. If you don't have one, I put them in front of each person. And kind of showing how the money would be spent over the 5 years. And please be aware that like the $4 million total for the gym, that is an educated wild guess because we have not had an architect actually look at this. I literally just went out on the web and asked what's an approximate cost for a gym with a boy and girl, visitors and home locker room and seating for about 800 people.
So you chat GPT'd it?
I did. I did, and it
go
came back with some numbers, and it, you know, so we'll just see. But this was just to try to get some idea for y'all to have as we begin this process.
All right, go ahead, Trent.
Just
All right,
before
so-
we start going down the list, just real quick, would you guys agree that we need to combine projects B and O, which is the Independence High School gym and classroom edition, and E and J, which is the Sumner Middle School gym and classroom edition? That way, when the architects start the design, they can see about adding 6 classrooms or 5, 4, whatever the
I
case
think he
happens to
said
be.
he's gonna.
We can do that without a
for
motion.
Design per campus.
Yeah.
The RFQ
It will
that
be
he's gonna
considered
use
per campus.
All right, gotcha, just so we don't need to combine them together. He'll
Right.
understand.
All right, so let's, before we
carry on.
take you, Dr. Sanders, let's go ahead and make a motion on this. Consider design approval for Independence High School gym. Do you have a motion?
Can I have an option I'd like to do, because I either want to move all of them forward, or I want to vote to move none of them forward. So, I mean, my preference would be that we vote to adopt the administration's recommendations on agenda items B, E, F, G, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, and O.
So not all of them, you're just wanting
Well,
to,
those are the ones that deal with building a new building and hiring architects. And then we can talk about the other ones deal with wastewater treatment facilities,
LED lighting up.
OD lighting, security enhancements. But as far as the ones where the administration's recommending that we issue RFQs, I'd like to be able to vote up and down.
What about C?
Miss Amanda, did you get them letters?
It's all the Phase 3 ones.
C is a roof replacement. I think we can take that one up separately.
Okay.
That's a small little roof replacement
Was
project.
that your motion?
Yeah, my motion is to adopt the administration's recommendations again on B, which is the Independence High School gym, E, which is the Sumner Middle School gym, F, the classroom addition at Hammond Eastside Upper, G, not G, we'll come back to G, we'll come back to H, I, which is the Automotive Center for the Career Center, J, the Sumner Middle School classroom addition to remove portables, K, the Sumner High School classroom addition to remove portables, L, the Laranja Elementary classrooms to remove portables, M, the Natalbany classrooms to remove portables, N, the Perrin classrooms to remove portables, and O, the Independence High classrooms to remove portables.
I'll second the motion.
We're talking about doing the same thing for all of the campuses where we've identified a need.
This is just to do the initial design to see if the.
Just to send out the RFQs for architects, which the hiring of the actual architects will come back.
Come back to us anyway.
I got a motion and a second. Mr. Westmoreland,
Call for a vote.
call for a vote, Ms. Amanda.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez?
No.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Piazza?
No.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, Dr. Sanders, if you want to speak on this agenda item.
Thank you, Ms. Abrams and Board. I first want to begin by thanking you all for the approval to get our cafeteria furniture. Everything has come in and it's looking really good. We're very proud. Thank you all for that. Secondly, on the gym and the classroom, I want to report that this didn't just come haphazardly. We actually looked into some things already, and if you notice, when I did the cafeteria, I didn't come empty-handed asking you for all of the money. I had some also ready to come and pair with it. So the idea that my coaches and I, along with Chief Polito and some other, Mayor Payne and some others, have is to do a dome-style gym that has been done right up the road in Mississippi to where the district didn't pay for it all. FEMA came in and paid part of it because it was able to be used as a storm shelter in that community. That's the idea that we have for Independence because that's a need for our community. And in that dome-style gym, we will be able to have all of those things and classrooms as well. That's what I was trying to put out that could have kept kind of quell some of y'all's questions in that lengthy debate. But thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Dr.
That
Sanders.
is great, but that should have came from someone else, not necessarily you at the last minute, see? We should have already had that.
But
That was our point. The
I
whole
know,
thing is
I
our
know,
point.
but
We've
nobody
given a
asked
piece of
me and I
paper
would've
today
shared
to
it.
say, do this
Spend
with
money.
no information, no money where it's going to come from, no, where's it going to, nothing.
All right,
That's-
Dr.
that's
Sanders,
all.
we appreciate you speaking on
Somewhere,
that.
Dr. Sanders, I commend you.
Yeah, I mean, that
Appreciate it.
Thank you so
sounds like
much.
a good plan.
Robin, can we need to set the retreat and not wait till December. We need to set it as soon as possible, since everybody's fired up about this. We need to set aside a half a day, and I'll ask Amanda to start reaching out to you guys and figure out what day works best for y'all. But this is not something that we need to kick the can down to the end of the year. We need to act on this as quick as possible so that we can have, and that all these things that y'all are griping about, we're going to put it together in a forum to where we actually get something done that day. and we're not just spinning our wheels.
Yeah.
So come prepared.
Yeah, set it aside for.
Mr. Polito, you want to speak as well?
We can do it in half a day, Tom.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Abram. Y'all had to remember that in 2004, the voters of Independence, District 39A, voted themselves a bond to build a middle school. That money didn't come out to school board general fund. Those people, including myself and some others here, paid that bond, that tax every year. Okay? Well, here comes the Career Center, which we all for. Great. Great, Ms. Dilly. Y'all took a school from us that we haven't been paid back for yet. Every student in this parish in high school, from Kentwood to Ponchatoula, is using that school. And the people of that voting district paid for that school. It did not come out the general fund. So it's payback time, ladies and gentlemen. We want a gym and classrooms. Okay? I applaud you, Ms. Abrams, for voting on these individuals, because it went to the retreat, Independence High School to be left out. This is not my first rodeo dealing with a school board, this school board. Okay? We need a gym and classrooms. We gave a school up to do the Career Center. We are owed some money.
Which, by the way, had a gym.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So-
Mr. Polito.
Thank you.
All right, so we need to go ahead and consider C.
C is to consider the design for Tucker Elementary administrative roof replacement. There's a flat roof in the administrative area, and we would like to replace that.
Move. Second.
Call for a vote. Miss Amanda?
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Piazza?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to D, consider approval of the GPLA HVAC change order number 1. Mr.
Administration would ask approval for this. If you have any questions, Mr. Paul Movant is here from Holly and Smith.
Can you explain what this is all about? This is Greek.
So if anybody has any questions, I can take them at this time.
Just tell us what the change order is.
So the change order is for, the line items, it's for some deductive change order work for electrical. There was scope taken out of the contractor scope and moved over to a electrical contractor appointed by the construction office to do that work. And that's what that representation is. The next item was we originally had in the scope to replace the windows at the gym. This increased that scope to include all the windows at the classroom buildings for that, to further secure that building envelope. That was an owner request as well. The third item is to condition the lobby for the gymnasium. Originally, our scope was to just condition the gymnasium space itself. We were asked by the owner to increase that scope to include the lobby. The existing classroom buildings in the building are served by PTAC units, individual air conditioners already. The fourth item, there was a steel angle that was unforeseen whenever these windows were needed to be replaced. Whenever the initial demo of the windows was done, it was identified that this angle was creating a conflict with the new installation, so that angle had to be removed, the steel angle, in those openings. And then the next item is an unforeseen item, so we had to provide additional spray foam insulation at a beam. The existing wall had insulation, and it was hidden, so we couldn't see that at first look at the project. Thought the insulation extended up to the roof. It did not. It did not cover where the beam was, so we had to insulate that from the backside to make sure that didn't sweat, because now the gym would be conditioned to create, to avoid having a moisture problem down the road. And then the final item is, these were units that were fairly large, and they needed additional time for procurement for, the companies to build them, go through submittals, all those things. So that took, majority of the contract time that we had established, and due to, material delays that, that extended out way past what our projections were.
The only question I had on it, and I think I shared it maybe with Theron, and I didn't want to slow the process down, but just the cost of the credit. So do we know how much we spent with Mark to do the service feed? I have a feeling it was a lot more than 100,000.
I'm still looking at that exactly, but the number that we got, I think, was $29,000. So on this one, we came out good.
Okay.
The other ones we're not so sure, but on this one, it was just a couple of panels, and so.
And then on that, they took out the electrical work, but they didn't give us any days back, and then we, in turn, they're charging us 49 days for delays in equipment. You would think that they would have given us some days back because they didn't do the electrical work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the contractor already had that worked into their schedule, and they had already done some of the work, like the submittals. They'd already done their field reviews after construction had started, and like I said, it was already in their schedule to do that work. So they had it accounted for.
That's what I'm saying. But when they didn't do the work, we should have gotten credit for not only the money and some days.
Right, but the work still had to be done by the other contractor, by Marks Electric,
I got you.
and that took the time
Okay.
which the contractor would have done.
That's
And then the
understandable.
complete electrical scope wasn't taken out the project. They still had some items that remained in their scope. So
And
that
the
was
The only
yeah.
other question I had on it was the equipment delays. I haven't seen any change orders from the other vendors that did the gym ACs and other projects. Was this the only company that experienced equipment delays? Or, I guess y'all verified like when they ordered them and? that
Yes,
kind of
yes,
stuff?
we went through the process of verifying the timelines and everything. I believe that Ponchatoula also had a similar equipment delay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, it's understandable and the number's right. The numbers are correct.
In terms of the equipment delays, pretty much all HVAC projects had delays.
Right.
All right. Any other questions? And call for a vote.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Piazza?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, Mr. McNeely, we're going to consider design approval for the school LED lighting upgrades.
Hey, there was a RFQ done, I think a couple of years ago, of which I believe Energy Harness is the name of the company. And what they do is they provide LED lighting engineering and equipment. And through that, we're able to get a rebate from Entergy on the light fixtures, done through Entergy Solutions. Ms. Stilley and I met with them a week or so ago, and just moving forward to those, instead of them wasting their time, if we're not interested. I think we are interested in changing to the LED, using the energy savings to pay, the rebate to pay part of it, and then probably over a 5 to 10 year period, the energy savings actually pays for it. And as my educator friends have told me, a well-lit classroom is very conducive to learning, and so we want to do it for that reason.
This would be a district-wide project, right?
District-wide, and
So
that's
many of the
why
places where we don't currently have LED, we would be transitioning to LED.
right.
We've already done some campuses.
We've done some. We had to get court approval because the cost of the equipment and Marks Electric doing the work was over the $125,000 at a particular campus. And so we
We
got
got
an approval
rebates?
on those. We have another batch that Energy Harness gave us. So they had kind of a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 based on energy usage.
We got the rebates for the ones that we've already done, or?
They're in the process of getting
Good.
those.
Mr. Piazza?
I motion to adopt administration's recommendation for the LED lighting.
Second.
Second is Tom.
Call for a vote.
And call for a vote. Ms. Amanda?
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Piazza,
Yes.
Ms. Richards,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Toller, Mr. Westmoreland. Motion passes.
So the next step, we'll take the ones, the designs that they've already done, and we'll put those on the street for the electrical bids for actual installation of the lights, and then we'll come back to y'all, school by school. Item H.
Consider design of approval of security access and control upgrades. So this is something like Ponchatoula just recently came to us for.
Right, Ponchatoula just did it for their school. We're in the process of getting that PO. I would like to go ahead and have Nortec give us quotes on the other 6 high schools. Based on Mr. Piazza's question, I think we as a district should look at a minimum that we pay at each school. And then if they want to add more bells and whistles, then the school could pay for it out of their small capital outlay. But this would begin a step toward moving to a district-wide platform as far as cameras and getting it out of the schools. But I didn't want to waste Nortec's time.
And this is just for them to go and design it, not to pay for it, not to just to go and say, hey, go the same thing you mapped out for Ponchatoula, we'd like you to map out for the other 6.
Correct.
Motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay,
Go ahead, Mr. Jerry.
okay, so my concern about that is that we should be doing this for all our schools. I mean for the safety factor. Most schools across the nation that have had school shootings have been lower level schools. And so I know, doing it at our high schools, I realize that we're doing that because, we're looking at securing our bathrooms, and that's a real, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would probably say the opposite. I would probably say most school shootings, if you looked at the stats, would consist of high school. There have been some lower elementary school shootings, obviously, but I would say that would be I would say you would start there and work your way down. But I agree with you.
I guess my point is that there's no school that's.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and I agree with you, Mr. Jerry.
If you secure the high schools, and if there is going to be a target, it's going to be our lower grade schools.
Yeah, well, I think their plan is to do this first, and then we'll move on
And the junior high,
to the
middle
junior
schools,
highs
and
and
then
then
the
elementary.
elementary schools.
Yes, sir.
Mr. McNeil, is it costing us anything to have them design this work? Can we go ahead and get the design for all of them so we can see it? How much it would cost per campus?
We can. The issue is if it's going to take them a while to do that. And if we hold up for them to do another 31 schools before we start. So I was just saying, I know they had already looked at Hammond High School recently on another one. They've looked at Meade High School. So there's just a few high schools left to look at. Then we can come back to you and immediately tell them begin looking at the junior highs and middle schools.
Like
Mr. Anthony?
just remind me, there's a different target. There's a different target with the high schoolers because the vape sensors. Also, remember, you're tracking who goes in what door and out what door, as opposed to, you wouldn't necessarily do that with
I don't
kids.
think anybody disagrees that every school should be, secure with these type of things. And I just want to make sure that, like Jerry's point, if we do high school, I don't want it to, we just forget about junior high and down. So I just want to make sure while we're doing this.
Right.
they
This
have
doesn't say a list. This doesn't say a list of
Right.
schools. This is everywhere. I'm just telling you that I'm going to say start with the high schools. As soon as you get those done, let's start working with the junior highs through the.
I'm going to recognize Mr. Anthony right now, and then I'll get to you, Brett.
Just a quick question. If we move forward with some of these security accesses and upgrades, will Dr. Caminita and Ponchatoula High School be refunded at least a portion of the small capital outlay that they spent on their particular project?
Right. What we plan to do is come up with a base that we pay everywhere.
Gotcha.
And that she would be refunded that to her small capital outlay.
Excellent. And just as a point B, I did just so happen to talk to somebody today who offers similar services, who, by the way, I shared contacts with administration. Just FYI, might give us an extra resource to look into. All right, that's it.
Mr. Duncan?
So, Jeff, on the spreadsheet that we got this afternoon, it looks like we're going to try to set aside $3.75 million for these upgrades over the course of the next 5 years, is what I'm seeing on here. So, but it's spread out over those 5 years with $750,000 per year.
Right.
Is that first year going to be, are we anticipating that year one would be high schools? And is that going to be enough to do the high schools year one?
It's really an educated guess at this point.
I understand, but that's,
Ponchatoula was about 100,000, and that's one of our largest schools with 18 entry points, and
Right.
so some of the schools are going to be 50,000.
okay.
And so
But-
we will do them as quickly as we can, and we have the funds. If we can do all of them in the next 2 years, we have the funds available to do that, and that, safety and security is our highest priority.
Right. But I mean, so, and that was what I was getting to, is that I don't think it's going to take 5 years to get that done. And if it does, my concern would be that a design that they do this year, because we're talking about technology, is going to be outdated in 3 years from now. You know,
Exactly.
the vape detectors 3 years from now are going to be detecting,
That we're planning.
you know,
No
something
telling
else.
what.
You have something new.
No, all right.
Okay.
We're going to call for a vote.
Thank you, Ms. McNeely, for bringing this.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony? Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Piazza?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Toller? Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so P through S, these are all waste treatment projects for Spring Creek, Hammond High, Hammond Eastside Lower, and Chesbro. Can we just vote on all of those together?
Yeah, motion to put all those together in
Second.
one vote.
The motion would be
Motion
to
is to-
adopt the administration's
Yeah,
recommendation
for
for
all.
agenda item P, R, and S.
Thank you. I wasn't looking at it, my computer's on.
Motion.
Q.
EQRS.
PQRS,
Thank you.
yeah.
Sorry.
Motion by Mr. Joey, second by Tom. You got that, Miss Amanda?
Question, wait, I have a question on this one too, I'm sorry.
Mr. President.
Oh, Mr. President, I'm sorry.
Jeff, on these, for the design, particularly for Hammond High and Hammond East Side, is that design going to be to attach us to the
Municipal.
sewer system?
Yes.
And get out of sewer treatment business?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I don't think we can do that up in Spring Creek or Chesboro yet.
Not yet.
But that is our design, is to try to figure out how we can tie in.
Anywhere we can tie in, we want to move to that because EPA and DEQ requirements are getting more stringent. The cost of treating is getting more expensive. We'd like to let somebody else do that. As good a job as Charlie does, we would like somebody else to do that.
And East Side Uppers were taken care of with their waste side, right? I know we had an issue a while back.
Eastside Upper is tied
We're
into,
done.
I believe Hammond, are they? Tangi Sewer District Number 1.
We've done that.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, call for a vote, Miss Amanda.
Ms. Abrams?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Piazza?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Toller? Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, if there's nothing else, by the way, y'all do realize we just approved everything on that list. We could have just avoided all of this and just said yes on all of it. But anyway, if there's nothing else to be brought before capital outlay, call this meeting adjourned.